You are listening to the Knightline Sports Network, brought to you by Travis Dever and the Dever team, 386-690-1636.
This is WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk.
Welcome to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Night Nation's only call-in show goes live now.
All right. Hello, Orlando. Hello, Night Nation. This is Andrew Phegley, and this is Knightline at Night. We're live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Bar Law, assisting injured veterans get the help they deserve. Give Chad a call, 407-599-9036, or visit protectingvets.com. You can also call Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636. But we're taking your calls if you want to call us, 844-580-9326, 844-580-9326, or you can use the open mic feature in the WDBO app. Once again, I'm Andrew Phegley, AP_Knightline on Twitter. Got Roger Phipps with me today at Night Bengal on Twitter from the Santa Rosa Beach studios, and you can find all the rest of our content on nightlinesports.com. Got all kinds of stuff on there. We're talking UCF, specifically UCF football today, a 49-7 victory yesterday over the Temple Owls. Mikey Keene, freshman quarterback, throws 5 touchdowns, 1 interception, 229 yards. It was awesome. Finally, we opened up the offense. Roger, what did you think? Just initial thoughts about the game yesterday. I thought that it was probably one of the best games that we've played all year.
It was fun. Let me just say that. It was fun to watch the offense open it up a little bit. There was a lot of question marks around Mikey Keene and whether he could pass that way, although if you watch his high school tape, you knew that he could. The receivers were actually catching the ball for the most part, which was fun. And what about Alec Holler, man? That was super exciting to watch. A tight end being used. He had 2 TDs, and that tiptoe along the sideline was exciting to watch. The defense, again, did what the defense did. First, forced turnovers, 4 sacks, had 7 tackles for a loss, and I was very, very impressed with our defensive backs. They blanketed their receivers, used the sideline and boundary well, and they seem to be getting better week in and week out. And you're seeing a lot less zone, and we're getting after the quarterback with blitzes. So I don't know if that's a byproduct of the teams that we're playing, or I think it's a combination of that.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely much better. That was what we were really looking for in this whole thing. Our score predictions last week, I have to say this right off the bat, because if you remember, during our Tijuana Hot Flats Take of the Week last week, I picked UCF to win 41-7 at 49-7. They overperformed a little bit, that I thought, but I was pretty close there for once.
Yes, you were.
I'm going to rub that in the entire show, and I'm sure you all will probably get tired of me, telling you that, but that's the way that it went. There was just something last week that Coach Malzahn said that I thought that he really sounded like, hey, yeah, we're going to open up the offense a little bit. So that was the reason that I picked it like that. I know that the Temple Owls are pretty much horrible. It was pretty easy to pick that. So
yeah, for me, it was 32-14. And, my primary reason for that was just that they had been gashed by the Cows from West Central Florida for 400 yards rushing. So I was expecting Gus to kind of keep it on the ground. And if you heard the guys on the call, including UCF's own Leger Duzable, he was talking about that, and that they were told by Gus that they were going to give a heavy dose of the running game, which they did, but I was not expecting a 5-touchdown performance by Mikey Keene and to open it up that much.
Well,
so
you think
really
you're going to tell the radio team what you're going to do during the game? That's just, or the TV crew or whatever they were. That doesn't make any sense. I never pay attention to any of that stuff. I could care less what those guys on the TV say, to be honest with you. Half the time they're wrong. They called UCF USF I don't know how many times.
A couple
number
times,
one, and Doozable did it as well, and he shouldn't do it because he's a Knight. So
Right.
that got old pretty quick. So I turned that off. I just muted it and watched the game. So yeah, I heard him say something about, they always try to say, stuff. Oh, well, we were told this and we were told that. Half the time you can't believe any of that stuff. They just want to sound like insiders and like they know what they're actually talking about, especially on ESPN Plus, the guys that they give us for those games. Anyway, that's my rant.
How do you really feel about that?
Well, I just, sometimes if you can't get the names right, for one, there's a pronunciation guide. They have all the stuff way ahead of time. Like, come on. It's just bad. It looks bad for everybody. So, it's just, I don't know. Like I said, I turned that stuff off early, and that helped out a lot personally for my well-being. Isaiah Bowser looked a lot better this week. Looked almost 100%, maybe very close to it. Still wearing the knee brace, obviously, which is perfectly fine. I don't blame him for doing that. And it takes a little bit of time to get used to wearing one of those knee braces, especially if you're a skill position player. So 19 carries for 89 yards, averaged 4.7, one touchdown for him. But it's not just it's not just the yards that he runs. It's all the little things that Isaiah Bowser does as well to get those yards. And the pass blocking and everything else that he does. He is an all around, football player back there. So Alex Holler, like you said, absolutely awesome with him. It looks like that Mikey Keene and Alex Holler have made a connection. I'm going to call Alec Holler from now on Holler if you hear me. Just because he needs a nickname. He's got that mullet. He's all around a cool dude. So very athletic kid, and was a walk-on to start this whole deal out. So good for him. He led the receivers with 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. Ryan O'Keefe had 6 catches for 72 yards. Averaged 12 yards a catch. Alec Hollier actually averaged 21.8 a catch. Ryan O'Keefe would have had one a little bit longer than that, but he dropped it right in his hands. Mikey Keene threw it. He was wide open in the middle there, down the side in the middle, and Ryan O'Keefe just freaking dropped it right through his hands. I don't know. I guess Mikey Keene said later on that maybe the sun got in Ryan O'Keefe's eyes or something like that. Here's what Coach Gus had to say about the game, though.
Just real excited for our team. I think we had a complete game. We may have played our best game of the season. We've been really talking to our guys, about the second part of the season. We're 1-0 last week. We've had trouble on the road. Our guys really came out, played very good defensively, maybe our best defensive effort, maybe our best, complete game offensively. We were able to hit some explosive pass plays. We threw it deep. We mixed in the run. Mikey, you can see he's growing. And I thought he had a really good day today, and overall our special teams played well. And, we talked about getting better. There's not a lot of teams in college football that actually improve the second half of the season. That's our challenge. And today it was the right step, in the right direction.
Yeah. I loved the way that Mikey Keene played, except for the one interception, obviously. But, has done very well, so far this week anyway. A couple of times before, not so great. In the month of October, he has thrown 6 interceptions, only one yesterday, thank goodness. But definitely, tried to open it up a little bit, obviously, and was able to do that. Here's what he had to say on being able to open it up.
I mean, it's always going to be a game changer for an offense. Just getting an explosive play like that, whether it be breaking off a long run or throwing a long pass for a touchdown, it just opens up the playbook. Honestly, keeps the defense on their toes. So being able to execute that today was huge for us and led to some explosive plays and a few touchdowns too.
Yeah, a few touchdowns.
5.
With that 5 touchdowns, he is in some pretty good company, honestly. The 5 touchdown passes in the game matched his career high, obviously. And then he's the 7th Knight to throw for 5 or more touchdowns in a single game, joining Dylan Gabriel, Mackenzie Milton, Ryan Schneider, Dante Culpepper, Darren Henshaw, and Darren Slack. Good names to be associated within the program. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Darren Slack especially.
Well, yeah, and Dante and Ryan Snyder, all those guys. So the 5 touchdowns or more in a single game was a really big deal for him. Threw a record high or a career high for him, 229 yards on 15 of 21. So,
yeah, he tied, and I think he tied Mackenzie Milton as well in his first season. Where Mackenzie actually had more games under his belt at this time, but tied him as far as the number of touchdowns that he had in his first season versus, what Mikey's done. So it's good company to be in for sure. And the reason why I mentioned Darren Slack was he holds the record. I think it's 7 touchdowns in a game for a quarterback. Now, of course, that's going way back, but still pretty impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I didn't know that. So I'm not the best at those all-time records and stuff like that. So I'm glad that you know some of that stuff. So that's good. Yeah. Ryan O'Keefe, if he wouldn't have dropped that one, he would have had a great day. I think that one drop, though, really kind of hurt him in a way. Just with that one drop, it could have been so much more. That was wide open. Touchdown. Yeah, it was wide open. It would have put us up right there. It would have looked great for both of them. Ryan O'Keefe afterwards said, though, that he doesn't, get down on those things. He is his own biggest, critic. But he tries to go onto the sideline and just go on, move on, and not let stuff like that bother him, and his teammates help him out with that as well. So, and then I think I said Mikey Keene said that the sun may have gotten in his eyes or something. The sun was kind of weird on the field yesterday, supposedly. So,
had a couple guys actually trip on the field too. Defender tripped and fell, and then somebody else did as well. So, I don't know what the state of the field was, but I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to take our break, and we'll be right back on Knightline at Night.
An auto accident can change your life forever. At Chadbar Law, we are raising the bar on what to expect from your personal injury attorney. Hi, I'm Chad Barr, and I want you to know that our entire team is dedicated to providing you with the representation you deserve in your greatest time of need. If you or a loved one have been injured in an auto accident, call 407-599-9036 for a free consultation or visit chadbarlaw.com. At Chadbar Law, our clients come to us in need and leave as family. Offices, Altamont Springs.
Hey, this is Travis Dever, Kai's Real Estate, the Dever team, New Smyrna Beach. Your source for real estate and everything else, New Smyrna Beach. Proud sponsor of Knightline. Call me anytime at 386-690-1636. That's 386-690-1636. Let me show you my hometown, New Smyrna Beach, UCF's favorite beach. Go Knights and charge on.
Looking for more out of your Porsche? Look no further than Flat6Motorsports.com. They have the widest selection of aftermarket Porsche parts anywhere in the world. With over 85 product lines and in-depth expertise, Flat6Motorsports.com is your one-stop shop for any Porsche performance needs. Whether you're shopping for intakes, exhausts, suspension, or tuning, they have you covered. Flat6Motorsports.com is the premier Porsche aftermarket specialist. Check them out at Flat6Motorsports.com.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Knightline at Night. I'm Andrew Phegley. We're live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barr Law. Taking your calls, 844-580-9326, 844-580-9326. Or you can use the open mic feature on the WDBO app. talking about UCF football, 49-7 win over the Temple Owls yesterday. Great job by Mikey Keene, 229 yards of passing. Great job by the running backs, 199 yards on the ground. Isaiah Bowser, 1 touchdown. Johnny Richardson, 1 touchdown. The biggest story, I think, that came out of it was Alec Holler, if you hear me, 2 touchdowns, a walk-on, or not a walk-on, but he was a walk-on. He didn't have a scholarship. So, tight end. I think he was the first tight end to score. I think he scored in that Boise game as well. And we were kind of like, whoa, okay, Alec Holler. He's very like athletic for a tight end for 6'3", 230. He's an athletic dude. So it's exciting to see him have such a good year, and I can't wait to see what happens in the future with him. He's a junior, but should have another year at least.
Yeah, he's had a few, earlier, maybe 2-3 games ago, he had a few drops, and so they kind of went away from him again. But they're having a lot of success slipping him out because defenses are keying in on Bowser, and especially when what would actually be interesting is if Gatewood can throw a pass in the middle of the field. If they had Gatewood and Bowser back there and have him have slip the tight end out, but every time he's had success, it's typically been along the sidelines. But now they're using the middle of the field a little bit more, which is another little wrinkle that we've been missing for a while, week over week. So it's exciting to see that.
All right, our friend Andrew from Oviedo sends me a text question. He couldn't call in today. He's got family stuff going on, which a lot of people do. Happy Halloween to everyone, by the way. He says his question is, was our performance on offense due to better play calling, or was Temple's D that bad? Well, I'm going to say it was both, to be honest with you. Our play calling was incredible yesterday. I loved it. I especially loved the running game with all those little pulls and weird motion in the backfield. I mean, I think Gus does a great job with that. He always has. We haven't seen it a lot this year, I don't think. I think we saw it even more this time. We were able to get a little bit more, stuff going. But yeah, Temple's defense is horrible. So, of course that helped us out. This was the perfect game, I believe, to get Mikey Keene some confidence, in my opinion. So, Roger, quickly, you can.
I'm just going to say I'm going to agree with you, and I agree with you on the pulls and Ryan O'Keefe and using him, because he's been using that sideline to sideline action, and now he's become a decoy back there. So every time he motions, you don't know if it's going to the running back or if it's going to him. So use it while you can, and definitely some different play calling this week, and a lot more aggressive, which I like to see.
Yeah, and sometimes they had up to 4 people in the backfield back there doing crazy stuff. So I'd have to watch it, over again to see all of it. But there were a couple times where I was like, oh my, this is the weirdest formation I've seen for a while. So I love it when he does stuff like that, though, personally.
Yeah, it's a way to stretch the defense and make sure you can't contain the edges, because they constantly have to move with whoever's running back there. So it keeps people out of the box, and it's another creative way, just like he did with Bowser and pulling Bowser out and in last week.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good thing. I love it when he does it. The creative play calling is something that Gus Malzahn has always been known for. I think it's been a little bit harder to do these things with the freshman quarterback, after with so many people being hurt and things like that, to be able to really use your offense the way that you really wanted to, and the way that it's designed. And I think that he has the confidence now with Mikey Keene to be able to do that a little bit. And as time goes on, it is the 8th, week of the football season. So as time goes on, you're able to, open things up and use a little bit more of your offense and use a little bit more of that play calling every week. So, all right, short segment. We will be right back on Knightline at Night, though, and we're going to talk a lot more about this UCF football victory. If you haven't figured it out yet, I love Tijuana Flats. I would love them even if they weren't a partner with us on the Knightline Sports Network. They have all kinds of great Tex-Mex food, and it's fresh, by the way. Made to order burritos, tacos, enchiladas, chimichangas, quesadillas, bowls, nachos, and taco salads. And if you haven't tried the queso, you are completely missing out. It is the best queso that I've ever had in my life. Absolutely hands down. And the sauce bar that they have, everything from wild to mild in there. Absolutely awesome, awesome stuff. Not only do I love the food at Tijuana Flats, but I love the company, a UCF-born company. And they give back to the community with the Justin Queso Foundation. So head to your local Tijuana Flats. Tex-Mex for everyone. Hey Jeep Wrangler owners, have you ever sat in your office at work and watched the rain just pour into your Jeep because the weatherman said that there was a 0 chance of rain? Or you put your doors back on because there was a 100% chance and then not a drop of rain fell? Well, there's a company out there that can help take the worry away and give you the peace of mind to be without your doors. The company's called Life Without Doors. They make waterproof rain curtains and dash covers for Wranglers. Life Without Doors is there to help make the decision to leave the doors at home an easy one. Find out more at lifewithoutdoors.com.
Spice up your company with homemade marketing services from Tasty Gravy Creative. Tasty Gravy serves up a menu of budget-friendly marketing, graphic design, and public relations services customized to your specific goals. Co-owned by a UCF graduate, Tasty Gravy can help refresh your brand, strengthen your online presence, or reinforce your company's message. Contact Tasty Gravy for help with your website, social media, marketing, advertising materials, and more. Visit tastygravy.com.
And now, back to Nightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
Andrew Phegley back with you here on Nightline at Night, live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Bar Law. Assisting injured veterans get the help they deserve. Give Chad a call at 407-599-9036 or visit protectingvets.com. You can also call Travis Dever for all your New Smyrna Beach real estate needs, 386-690-1636. We're taking your calls, 844-580-9326, 844-580-9326, or you can use the open mic feature in the WDBO app. Once again, I'm Andrew Phegley at AP_Knightline on Twitter. And I got Roger Phipps with me at Night Bengal on Twitter from the Santa Rosa Beach studios. You can find all the rest of our content on nightlinesports.com. We're talking about UCF football and a 49-7 win over the Temple Owls yesterday.
Who?
Exactly. That's funny. Definitely a big advancement for Mikey Keene on this. Freshman quarterback Mikey Keene did a very good job throwing 5 touchdown passes, only 1 interception, for a total of 229 yards. His quarterback rating was pretty good as well. I believe it was up in the 90s. So here's what Gus Malzahn, head coach of UCF, had to say on Mikey Keene.
You know, anytime you get a victory on the road in college football and you're a freshman, I think it does nothing but give you confidence. And you can see him growing. He's starting to really take control of the offense. He threw some really good deep balls and, 5 touchdown passes. That's really tough to do. So he's growing, real proud of him. He's growing. And each week, and the way he practiced, it didn't surprise me. We hit some of those deep shots. He practiced really well this week. He threw it really well. The volume of reps, in practice, he's starting to feel more comfortable with the big picture. There's nothing like experience, and I think the game's starting to slow down for him a little bit. That was a really good pass to Brandon down there, right before half. I think that was a really big touchdown to let us go up 21-0, I think, right there half. And then we got the ball coming out. And so he's growing, and I think he's playing pretty well.
All righty. Well, he's definitely growing, definitely doing a lot better. I just love that they opened up the offense finally for him to let him throw the ball a little bit. I understand what they were doing by keeping it, down and easy and trying to get him comfortable out there with the speed and stuff. But he says, Mikey Keene says that he's feeling much more comfortable out there and was ready for this to happen. So, 200
That double pump was a thing of beauty on that Ryan O'Keefe pass.
It was, yeah. He was throwing, I think, to his left, and it was he did a perfect little double pump thing and got the corner or the safety away from whoever to Ryan O'Keefe that he was throwing it to. So, really did a great job. He was very accurate with these passes. I think that's one of the things that we've kind of, questioned a little bit on Mikey Keene because of the interceptions and stuff that he had thrown. But I think the accuracy is there. I just really think that he needed the confidence of a game like this. I think this is going to be huge for him, of turning the page of being the freshman quarterback. And I look for big things for him for the rest of the season.
Yeah, the big thing for me is it's not just confidence, but his receivers actually catching the ball. People keep looking at his numbers, but they aren't realizing. I mean, when you have 4-5 balls dropped in a game, that's a huge difference. And he's still in the 60s on his completion percentage, right? 62, 63%, somewhere around that. So that should tell you something there. But I agree with you as far as confidence is concerned. For a quarterback, that is key. And ball placement, obviously he does like to throw into double coverage for some reason. So
that's just part of that's part of being young and knowing when to throw the ball and when not to,
right.
I mean, that's part of all of it. I mean, and in high school, he probably could slip that ball in there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he's probably used to thinking, all right, I've put this ball in this spot many times before. And now it's just there's a speed difference, and players that know a lot more what's going on in football, in double coverage than they do in high school. So right. I don't blame him for that very much. I mean, that's just one of those things. He also ran it a couple of times, so that was good. One was pretty good. He wound up with -4 yards, which I don't know if that's even correct, because that one run that he had, I thought was like at least 7 or 8 yards, if not more, because he ran for a first down once. Kind of took it, and I was surprised. Actually, I was like, "What? What's going on?" He
had a long of 7 yards, so he had
that's what the stat sheet says, but I don't know about that. I think that these stat sheets are not always correct. So I personally thought he had more yards than that, but who knows? Joey Gatewood. The other thing is that they actually finally asked Mikey Keene, somebody in the press conference, ask him how that affected him, and he says that it doesn't really affect him when they throw Joey Gatewood in there, and that Gatewood, it actually, he understands what it does, and I know on the podcast we talked with Kyle Israel about this and the psyche, issues of that, but Mikey Keene really seemed when he answered he answered the question straight out. I was kind of surprised that the person asked that question in the press conference, which I'm proud of that person for asking that question, but and Mikey Keene wasn't surprised. So he answered it great. So you'll have to check that out and hear that. I will have that clip on the podcast that comes out on Tuesday morning as well. Throwing Joey Gatewood in there, does do some good, I think. So I don't know. He had 41 yards of rushing, 6.7 yards a rush, Joey Gatewood, the other quarterback. So, and then you saw him towards the end of the game as well, got all the second team, third team guys in there towards the end of this game, which was nice to see as well. Really good to see some of those guys get that experience, and I think that was a big deal. Defense, we haven't talked much about them. We've talked a lot more about the offensive side. Here's what Gus had to say on the defense.
Whether stopping the run or run fits are really good. I think we've tackled pretty well too. And they're keeping things in front of them. We're not giving up those over the top. I think our secondary is doing a really good job too. And so real proud of those guys. I know they scored at the very end, but I couldn't be happier with our defense. We're able to score points off those turnovers too, which is always a really good compliment. And so our defense is opportunistic. They're going after the ball. We're playing more physical. That's something that Coach Williams really challenged his group about 3 weeks ago. And you can see they're growing. They're starting to take on his personality.
All righty. I think the defense personally has turned a page. I just feel like they know what they're doing out there a lot more. And they're just getting the job done. You don't see the last couple of games. You haven't seen one guy with a mass amount of tackles compared to everyone else. You're seeing more of a team approach to the defense. And, the turnovers are absolutely huge. And those have really turned on the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's a tale of two defensive secondaries, right? I think what you're seeing is Gus and the team basically trusting that secondary more as they mature. They're starting to prove that they can handle being out in space on their own. So you're seeing less zone and you're seeing more guys in the box. And when you have that, there's more opportunities for guys to get loose. I mean, Josh Seliskar had a great day today. Big Cat got in there for another sack. His sack numbers keep increasing, which is what we expected from him. But when you can stack more folks in the box, it's a lot easier to get somebody loose and get through, or have an offensive lineman make a mistake on a protection, depending on where the blitz is coming from. And I think what you're seeing is a lot better pressure, which is what Coach Williams wants to do.
Yeah. Who led the defense in tackles this week?
All right. In tackles, that was Powell.
John Powell. Tell me what you know about John Powell.
He's a defensive back. I thought he played last year for a little bit towards the tail end of the season. He had 8 tackles, 6 solo, but that's about all I know about him because he hasn't really been starting.
Exactly. And for him to lead the team in tackles yesterday, he's a redshirt senior defensive back. And I mean, he's played on special teams for a long time. I think he was the guy that this last week on the television show on ESPN that they kind of featured the thing around. And then there he was playing. That kind of set a fire under him, I think, a little bit. And
he's a hometown guy.
Yeah, being kind of featured on that ESPN. I can't even tell you what the name of it is.
Our Time,
yeah. Which I wish they would make those. This is another little rant. I wish they would make those about twice as long as they do. Sometimes they're only like 18 minutes or less. And it's like, come on, guys. You've had all this time to be around our team. Like, go a little bit more in depth and give us something.
They started getting shorter after we started taking losses, so I think they focused a little less on us.
It seems like they're doing these things on a lot of different teams now, too. Florida A&T or Florida A&M has one about them as well now. So SMU has one. There's just a bunch of them going on this year. So they normally only do like 2 teams. They've got like 5 teams that they're doing these things on now. So maybe they're running into trouble being able to edit everything into a more of a feature thing. They just seem to be really short. But anyway, back to John Powell. Awesome to see someone else really step up and lead the team in tackles. It wasn't a lot. But he also, shared that with Bryson Armstrong, which was good too.
Yeah, and he's been playing better. That's who I was going to mention was Bryson Armstrong because he had 6 solo tackles, right? He's been playing a lot better from that linebacker spot last couple of weeks, so I'm excited about that. Quadric Bullard, 6 tackles, 5 solos, so that's all that secondary, right? Justin Hodges had a sack, which was pretty amazing. Big Cat had 1.5, but the fact that Justin Hodges, we've been calling out his name the last few weeks. He was out early in the season. There were a lot of expectations for him, and he seems to be getting better and better every week. Yeah. I mean, he's really playing well.
I think Bryson Armstrong actually leads the team in total tackles for the entire year so far. I will have to look and see if that's correct, but I believe that is the case.
I believe you're correct as well, because he was the leader going into the game, and he only John Powell had 2 more tackles than him, so I'm pretty sure he's still at the top.
Yeah, he's done a great job coming from the FCS level, where he was absolutely awesome over there. Defensive player of the year numerous times in there, in that division, but has done very well here, and it's exciting. Yes, he does. He leads over Tatum Bethune 35-32 for him. So he's got 35. Bryson Armstrong has 35 tackles. But Tatum Bethune has 32. Well, okay. No. I'm looking at solos. I should be looking at total tackles.
Total tackles, yeah.
So Bryson Armstrong has 66 total tackles, but Tatum Bethune has 55, and then Quadric Bullard has 52, Devad Wilson 41.
Quadric Bullard has had a quiet but solid year thus far this year. And the other one that jumped out at me this week, and actually last week too, is you're seeing more Tremont Morris-Brash. That one series there, he had that sack, and then he blocked that pass that was on that screenplay.
Yep.
I mean, that was great, and that was perfectly technical. A lot of times you see guys, they teach you when you're a defensive player to put your hands together when you jump, and a lot of guys forget to do that. So if you see guys try to bat down balls, they don't put their hands together to block it. And he executed that perfectly. And he had some ups when he got on that.
Right. Was he only in there in the second half? I didn't see him in the first half at all.
Second half only, yes.
Yeah. And I think that obviously stems from the off-the-field issues that he's had this year. They're still obviously punishing him a little bit for that. But when he does come in there recently, he's done an incredible job. So hopefully he can get everything behind him and can, for next year or whatever, be able to do this a little bit more. So, all right, we need to take another break here. We will be right back on Knightline at night, and we'll come back with our Tijuana Flats Hot Take of the Week.
I'm Jeff Allen. Join me each and every week on the Knightline Sports Network for the AAC Report. We bring you in-depth coverage of each school in football, basketball, baseball, softball, soccer, golf, tennis, and more, as well as bring you insider interviews and focus in on the biggest games and news of the week. That's all right here each week on the AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
Welcome. This is a promo for the Take a Left at Albuquerque podcast, new to the Knightline Sports Network. You should listen to it. I say things like this.
We need to stop blaming Jerry because we would do the exact same thing if we owned the Dallas freaking Cowboys. Do you know how much fun it is to own the Dallas Cowboys?
My guests will say things sometimes like this.
It's the Lord of the Flies thing that happens when they don't understand that things are wrong, spoiler alert, until Piggy dies.
Lord of the Flies has been out for like 100 years. I don't even know.
Sorry to everyone at home who I spoiled the book for. A book's been out for like 90 years or something.
And sometimes, rarely though, I'll say really stupid things like this. If they don't make it out of the West and the Raptors get to the finals, I will go on either this show or whoever's show and say that Kawhi Leonard is overrated because I have too much evidence of it. New episodes drop every Friday with me and some of my good friends right here on the Knightline Sports Network.
And now, back to Knightline at Night on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Call now at 844-580-9326.
All right, back on Knightline at Night with you live from the Dever Team Studios, brought to you by Chad Barlaw. I am Andrew Phegley, got Roger Phipps here with me. One of the things that we do on the Knightline Sports Network, which you can find at knightlinesports.com or anywhere you can find podcasts, is that we have a show about the rest of the AAC. And here's what Jeff Allen had to say, who the host of that show is, about the rest of the AAC this week.
Time now to check out the rest of the scores around the American. Houston with a 100-yard kickoff return by Marcus Jones with 17 seconds left. Beats SMU 44-37 in a thriller there. Number 2, Cincinnati pulls away late to beat Tulane 31-12. On Thursday night, it was East Carolina topping South Florida 29-14. And Friday night saw Navy edging Tulsa 20-17. I'm Jeff Allen. Coming up on this week's AAC Report, we will recap those games and get you set for this week's contest, including our spotlight matchup of the week, Navy and Notre Dame, and we'll see where Cincinnati lands in the college football playoff bowl. That's all coming up on this week's AAC Report, only on the Knightline Sports Network.
Welcome to the Tijuana Flats Hot Take of the Week. Visit TijuanaFlats.com for takeout or delivery, or visit your local Tijuana Flats. Tex-Mex for everyone. All right, our Tijuana Flats Hot Take of the Week is our... by the way, I had Tijuana Flats again this week. Absolutely awesome. Again, check out the hot wings that they have. And they've got some cool stuff coming up at the end of the football season, by the way. I can't say much about it yet. I don't think that it's been released and announced by them, but they got something really cool coming up, and we will have giveaways associated with that. So just remember that. UCF is taking on Tulane Green Wave on Saturday, 4 o'clock, homecoming for UCF. UCF is favored by 13 at the moment, 84.8% chance to win on the matchup predictor on ESPN.com. Roger, what is your pick for this game? What's the score pick for you?
My score prediction, or my Tijuana Flats hot take of the week, is I'm going to go UCF 48 and Tulane 21.
21. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go a lot less than that. I'm good with your 48. I'm going to say we're going to go a little bit higher than that, though. I'm going to say 52-7. I don't think that we're on a roll with our defense. 2 games in a row, we've only let teams score 7 points. I just think that Tulane is not nearly as good as we thought they were. So at the beginning of the season, I thought that they were really going to be good. They're 1-7 though. They've only beat an FCS opponent. They're 0-4 in the conference, and I think that UCF, especially the defense, is like raring to go. They've set this mark of only allowing 7 points the last 2 games. I think they're going to do it again. In fact, it may even be less than that, because I think they really wanted that blank this week, which I kind of wanted them to do that as well. That would have been nice. I don't remember the last time somebody didn't score any points on us, even in garbage time. So you never know. So I'm going to go, what did I say, 52-7. I think
that's what you said.
I think that it's just going to go. So the over-under is 59 on this game, and UCF is minus 13. So a 13-point favorite coming into it at the Bounce House. It's homecoming. Well, now it's moved a little bit. It's 12.5. So I don't know. Maybe me saying that somebody was listening and put some money on Tulane. I don't know. It moved literally as I clicked on it. So, I think that's the way that it's going to be. What do you think, Roger, real quick?
I think for me, the reason I picked the 21 points is they've been averaging 26 points, except against a lot of really, really good defenses. So I'm expecting that. I'm expecting us to get some turnovers, which is why I'm feeling these the high point numbers. But I'm feeling pretty confident at 48-21, but I'll take 52-7.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not normally right. I was right this week, by the way. I didn't say it the rest of the show, and I probably should have. Last week, I picked 41-7 for UCF over Temple, and it was 49-7. So I feel pretty lucky. I probably should have put some money on that, but I didn't. I really don't have money to be betting on sports right now. I wish that I did. I would be in a much better place if I had money to bet on sports. But you can find tickets still for that Saturday at 4 p.m. at the Bounce House, and it's going to be on ESPNU. So homecoming is always a fun game out there. So, all right. Well, that's going to do it for us this week. We will be back next week. This is Andrew Phegley. Go Knights.
Charge on.